In this video, I'm going to do a quick discussion about our volume and how we're measuring our volume each week to meet the volume standards of broadcast, specifically YouTube's live stream volume standards. So we have a meter on the desk in here, and it's an analog piece of gear. And so I'm going to try to record with my phone and do a screen capture because I don't have a great way to do that. So I'm going to edit in here the video clip of the meter, and we'll come back to that in a second here to talk about how we read that thing and how we use it. So there are two reasons why it's important that we mix at a similar volume week to week. Reason one is for the viewers at home that stuff is somewhat at a standard. It's close to the same volume as other videos on YouTube, so they're not having to max out the volume on their TV. And also important that we mix our speaking at a good volume relative to our worship. Reason number two is because of the plugins that we're using within Studio One, specifically the plugins that are on this broadcast feed bus, which is the bus that everything goes into before it goes out to the web. So there's compressors and limiters and sonic maximizers and some different things on this that are volume or more technically gain dependent. So it's really important that we're mixing into this bus strong enough or not too strong. So the way that we do that is we use our sweet volume meter. All right, so here you can see our volume meter. Again, this is an analog piece of gear in the room, so I can't pull this up on the screen share. I'm going to hit play here a second so that we can see how this is reading, or just see it working, and then I'll explain some of the pieces.
Hosanna, Hosanna, in the highest forever. Hosanna, Hosanna, Alleluia, forever.
Okay. So you can see we have a couple different pieces here that we're looking at. One is this true peak max. So that's the actual true peak volume of the audio. The maximum peak in the digital domain would be 0 dB. The next thing that we have here is this sliding 10-second scale. So that is an average that is being constantly updated over 10-second periods. So that is one of the more important things that we'll watch on here. We want to see that in big sections of songs living in the minus 16 to minus 14 range. So I'm going to hit play here again. You can see that it is going to increase here. It's going to take it a second. I'm going to press the reset just to speed this up. Okay, so you can see there our sliding 10-second scale is minus 14 and a half, roughly, minus 15. That's a great spot for us to live. And if you notice on the radar over here, this is a very helpful tool. There's a darker blue line, and on that darker blue line, it changes colors from a kind of a light yellow to a darker yellow there on your screen. And now it's going to taper back off because we're going to come down. There's going to be less information. So this is where this is okay that this is dropping because obviously dynamically we have shifted. I would probably be riding the faders a little bit here because that dropped off a lot. I'm holding my phone, can't push the faders around. So we got this minus 15.5 here. That's that darker blue line, and then minus 21 and minus 27.5. So we really want to be shooting for this darker blue line when we're mixing the band in the big chorus sections. And then during the teaching, we try to live around this minus 21.5, which is that next line in. This is super helpful because when you switch from different teaching or speaking individuals, you can really try to hit those same numbers. So if I go over here and hit play on Tom talking, everybody's laughing.
Well, we got along really well, Rob and I.
So you can
And
see
so
there
whenever there was a family
on the radar, we're hanging out right around that minus 21 line. And that will yield a good feel for the people at home and hopefully keep them from having to adjust their volume a whole bunch between music and speaking. And this gets us pretty close to what YouTube wants for their volume when you live stream. So if you are not hitting these numbers on the screen, on the meter there, that means that you need to turn up stuff on your mixer. And what we do not do, I think we've talked about this in other videos, you don't adjust anything on this broadcast feed piece. That needs to stay the same because, as we talked about, if you're not hitting this hard enough, then the compression and limiting and stuff is not going to work. So then the question may be, well, what if my volume out of my speakers is feels too loud? Well, that means you need to go over here and turn your monitor's fader down so that you're mixing at a more appropriate volume for the live stream broadcast. That's also why it's important to not crank this thing up too much during like the songs, because you're getting pumped. And then all of a sudden over the course of the song, you've actually lowered your volume for the listeners at home because you've been increasing the volume of your speakers. So it's important to set this at a volume and know what that volume setting is for the music. And then you can turn it down or whatever during the teaching, but make sure you remember what that number was. In this case, it's at minus 12.5, so that you can put it back to that number during the music so that you're once again mixing at the similar levels. That about covers everything for the volume. Hopefully this demystifies some of this and is helpful.